Hello and welcome back to Pro Tour Austin. Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. Day one is in the books and Brian Kibler is all by himself in first place. Ran the table 8-0. His record on day one of the Pro Tour this year is now 16-0. He also 8-0'd Honolulu. Put up the top 8 there. This comeback he's gone insane.
He's poised to have his second top 8 appearance in as many Pro Tours, and I believe it's that many Pro Tours since he's returned. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah.
If he gets there today, playing great Magic.
Absolutely.
Drafting well. He's working with great people. He's playing great decks, and he's just in the zone. You know, when you see someone playing like that, he's playing hot.
Yeah. So I love the deck. Ben Rubin built the deck. Kibler played it. I think there were 4 people that played it. So here's the deal. They took a Zoo deck, and they said, you know what would be better than Kurt Ape? Baneslayer Angel. So a little bit different take on Zoo. I'm not sure it quite counts as a Zoo deck. It's big Naya. But I mean, it's Nakaddles and fetch lands and the mana and a bunch of monsters.
It looks a lot like Saito's deck that he won with at the end of last season, which was like Knight of the Reliquary Zoo.
Right.
But now, all of a sudden, there's awesome Baneslayer Angels in there.
Right.
And the Knight of the Reliquary is sort of a mana ramp that lets you play that Baneslayer Angel on turn 4, which should be just about fast enough.
Turn 3 with a Noble Hierarch. So that deck, by the way, 16-4 with the 4 guys who played that Zoo variant.
And I believe some of those losses came in the mirror. Like, so.
Zoo was the most played deck at this tournament, so this is a totally fresh, crazy extended format. Zoo was the most played deck, Dredge was the second most played deck, and put up a pretty solid result, 55% winning percentage for Dredge. That is very, very relevant to this format right now. Third place, and probably the deck that had the most people buzzing, is Dark Depths. Printing of Zendikar means Vampire Hex Mage comes into play, sack that, take all 10 counters off at Dark Depths, here comes 2020 Indestructible Flyer. Third most played deck in the format, and it did pretty well. It did about 55%, a couple people went undefeated with it.
2 people went undefeated with it, and then we have 2 more decks with Dark Depths package, like the Hex package that they can gifts for, who were X0-1 with the deck.
Sure.
So we did a piece with Lucas Siao about combo gifts. He went 4-0-1 with the deck, and so you know if you want to see a different way you can approach that, you should check that out.
Do we have a best deck in Extended yet? Is it too soon to tell?
I think it's too soon to tell. I mean, Zoo is hard to keep down. I mean, again, we have there was an X-1 Zoo deck that has like 16 1-drops.
Sure.
You know, it's Alara might get there. Gaia's Might is gone, but Might of Alara is back. So we have Alara might get there. That deck was performing terrifically. And then we have the big, the fat Zoo at the top.
Yeah, fully like 23% of the field, almost 1 in 4 people were playing some variant on Zoo, but it only went about 50-50. Like a couple variants did really well, a couple variants did really badly, sort of all over the map, about a 50% winning percentage overall.
Big Naya Zoo seems to be the front runner early on. We'll see how it shakes out on day 2.
I mean, not only did Kibler 5-0 with the deck, but so did Ben Rubin. Right. So some good players playing it, that obviously helps. Interesting stuff going on in Extended. You want to talk about hot runs, though. Brian Kibler may be 8-0 in this tournament. The guy in second place at 7-0-1 is Yuya Watanabe.
We told you at the beginning of the show to keep checking the standings and see how Yuya Watanabe's done. He's not disappointed. He's just been winning, a draw, winning, and winning convincingly.
Oh, yeah.
The Japanese players are just huddled around him watching. You could just hear them muttering,
POI, POI, POI.
And Bude. They
really?
really feel like this is their Kai Bude right now.
Wow, with the Grand Prix run that foreshadows the Pro Tour success?
They feel he is poised to make a historic Pro Tour run. I mean, this is talking to the Japanese players. They're super excited about him. They think he is come into his own, and he is just a force to be reckoned with on the Pro Tour.
All right. The Player of the Year race, we said it earlier, this I think is the best Player of the Year race by far. It's 8 points between the top 6 with, 5-6 weeks left in the season? Absolutely crazy. And these guys put up some results. They came to play. Watanabe leading the race by 2 points, 7-0-1. Saito, second place, 7-1. He's hanging out about 13th, 1 match off the pace. Now, we did have 2 of the leaders fall by the wayside today. Gab Nassif was eliminated in the last round of the tournament. He goes 4-3-1. The draw killed him. LSV only put up a 4-4. So those guys are going to have some work to do at Worlds. Probably have to top 8 just to have a chance.
And as we said, those guys are not going to go to all 4 GPs like these other guys are going to.
Although I talked to Luis, he said it actually stings a little bit less given that there's a tournament next weekend. He gets to go play in, was it Tampa next weekend?
Tampa's next weekend.
Yeah. Now, keep going though. Shuhei Nakamura, 44 points, only 6 out. He's through to day 2, only 5 and 3 though.
Still scraping.
But the guy, Martin Yuza, has been playing great Magic all year.
Playing like a man possessed.
His draft deck was absurd.
His draft deck is possibly one of the most absurd Zendikar draft decks. You should always try to draft a Zendikar deck like this with 2 Ob Nixilis, a Fetch Land, a Marsh Casualties, and oh yeah, he still had these 3 Burst Lightnings. His deck was ridiculous. He handily 3-0'd.
Yeah.
He's 7-1 on the day.
Right.
And he feels like he can win this Pro Tour. Like he's
What's he playing in Constructed?
He's playing Zoo.
All right.
So he's someone who's keep an eye on him tomorrow as well.
Another guy I'm keeping an eye on, by the way. We've talked about the top 6 in the Player of the Year race, but hanging out at 8th, Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa. And Paulo put up a 7-1. He was 7-0 playing Kibler for first place on the weekend. He could get right back in this with a big Sunday finish this weekend.
I was talking to Paulo, and what's really impressive about the 33 pro points that Paulo has this season so far is when he was 4-0 in this tournament, he said, I have now exceeded my match win total at my previous 2 Pro Tours this season. He went 1x and 2x at the first 2 Pro Tours, but he has two GP top 8s. He has a Brazilian national championship title.
Oh, that's a good point. So he gets to play in the teams competition at Worlds, right?
Yes, he does, but so does Yuya Watanabe and Shuhei Nakamura.
Yeah, Watanabe's good. I mean, it's not much of a lead, but he's definitely the driver's seat, right?
Yeah,
Second place at the PT. He's winning the race right now by a couple of points, and he's on the Japanese team at Worlds.
Which is an absurd Japanese team, which could potentially have Kenji Samura as their 3rd.
Wow. Is he the alternate?
He's the alternate, and it seems likely that he'll get the opportunity to take that seat.
So it'll be Yuya, Shuhei, and Kenji? What?
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah, no one outside of Japan is happy about this.
This tournament is going to be a lot of fun. The Player of the Year race implications are awesome. It seems very likely that we'll have Player of the Year implications on Sunday. If you cut to top 8 right now, here's your top 8. Kibler, Watanabe, Paulo Cortez, another Brazilian. Rafael Levy, the Hall of Famer, is 7-1 hanging out in 4th place. Martin Yuza in 5th. Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa in 6th. David Felsky, Samuel Estradi. That's just it's an awesome top 8.
I would like to make, I feel like I do this every event, but lurking in 17th place at X and 1 is one of my favorite Magic players, Sebastian Thaler. He X 1-1.
Okay.
Playing Dredge in a great position to make a run tomorrow. Yeah. Keep an eye on him.
Shaoto Yasoka, also X 1-1.
Oh my! Did you see his extended deck?
No.
People were doing things that I just did not expect to see.
Okay.
Makeshift mannequin back. An Eternal Witness to get my makeshift mannequin back to sort of buy time in the early game so I can start recurring locks it on Hierarchs with a Maria, the Sky Ruin.
And was he was doing that against Conley Woods, right?
He was doing that against Conley Woods.
Who's also playing an Emiria deck.
Yeah. And then ultimately it ended up with a Yosei coming back every turn with Emiria, which was then sacrificed to Mirren the Moaning Well to sort of lock him out, and then Life of the Loam strip mine you. It was crazy. His deck's absurd. I hope we get a chance to take a close look at that tomorrow.
And Honolulu champ Kazuya Minamura in 19th, sitting on 6-2.
Yeah.
So a lot of big names, a lot to learn about this extended format. Come back tomorrow, they'll do 1 draft for 3 rounds, and then 5 rounds of extended will determine who's going to be the top 8. Brian will be there, I'll be there. We'll be bringing you more coverage, so keep your browser tuned to MagicTheGathering.com.